welcome back to the Empowered by UMortgage Podcast. Today, I am joined by another one of my favorite people, a total powerhouse in the Dallas-Fort Worth area out of our Texas branch, NXT, Glenda White. Welcome to the Empowered Podcast.
Thank you so much. And I'm so excited to be here. I just love what you've been doing. And, it is all about empowerment. So I appreciate you having us on and just spreading the word. I mean, that's what it's about.
Heck yeah. No, and what we're doing this all together. We have built so many great relationships from miles and miles away, and it is possible to do that even though we don't get to see each other in person very often. I feel so close and so connected and so vested in your journey and your success, and it's because of all this intentionality that we're doing around building relationships and, really just empowering each other. So It's great.
Absolutely. And it does. And it kind of like helps you thrive and strive that you've got, an amazing company to work for, but the females that help, because we're in lending. So there's not a lot of female loan officers, and to embody, embrace it, and have, even you and our marketing team at the helm of this, like it just makes it easier to get up every day and just say, hey, my lady's got me, let's go.
Well, and that's so huge because I think that a lot of times you see people's social media and that's everyone's highlight reel, right? I mean, let's be honest. People are, winning this and let's go this. And it's really, really just sort of like high level. And sometimes that can feel a little bit defeating. And one thing I love about the relationships that we've built around Empowered is that we talk about real issues and real things that we go through and are going through, not just as women, but as humans in this highly competitive, really stressful, 100% commission job that we're also obsessed with and in love with. But there's real things that we go through, and we can support each other through that, knowing that it's just not all win, 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 let's go, and fundings and units and, all the things. There's so much depth to it. Absolutely. And knowing that you guys have my back and that I have yours and vice versa, like it just makes it so it's critical for my success.
100%. And it's a good thing because you can pick up the phone and call, like have a conversation with you. You're not in my backyard, but I feel like I can just pick up the phone and call and be like, hey, what the heck? How do I do this? And it's not about the loans. It's about you and your backyard. Like I want to be able to live that, and people in Dallas are like that. So it just like we have so many spectrums of this that allows us the unique, atmosphere to just like get to know people. But it's the layers of the how-to, and it's not about the transactions and all of this. It's about our building our relationships together and being better humans, or being that. And when we're having a stressful and hard day, we literally can go in and pour ourselves in our females.
Yeah, like you're not alone. Yeah. You've got support. And it's also the concept of the journey, not necessarily the destination. And I love that so much because we are getting better every day. And that means we're getting through challenges and having successes and like all the emotions and, highs and lows in between. And that's just life for everyone, but it's so authentic and real. And I appreciate it so much. And it's just totally unique. I mean, I've been doing this for 24 years, which is crazy. How long have you been in the business?
15.
I love it.
So people call me the old woman, and I'm like, oh, I'm like mid-40s. I was like, damn, I actually am old. So, oh my gosh.
Hey, I remember the days when we used to package up paper copies of loan files and put them in trans boxes, and they were these big envelopes, and you would literally drop the trans box into this probably totally non-secure like
MPPI. What was that
thing? And I literally remember saying to myself, Glenda, when we were starting to go, to digital, like I will never not have a paper file. Like I have to hold those tax returns. And now, are you kidding me? If somebody asked me to print something, I wouldn't even know where to start. I'd have to get toner for the printer first and foremost.
I print my contracts still. People laugh at me. I'm a 1980s baby, literally. And so I print my contracts and highlight them.
I love it.
Both. And I love technology, but I print my contracts. So there's the unique about Glenda. I literally print my contracts every time.
Oh, it's like the difference between reading a book and reading something on a Kindle, like I kind of have to have that like textile.
And then I highlight it.
Yep, totally. I am digital with the tax returns, but
Oh,
still
for sure.
with the
I'm
books.
not printing 100 pages of those.
What did you do before you got into the business then?
So I worked at American Airlines. I was Dallas Fort Worth, so headquarters was American Airlines. I started there at 19 in the risk management department. So we went through 9/11. I went through babies, and then in 2006 and 7, they opened up at that time, which was countrywide.
Oh
They
yeah.
opened up a call center, and they said, "Hey, we need an admin. You don't make any money at American Airlines. We've gone through the bankruptcy of the American." And they said, "You're very good at what you do. Come be our admin." And I'm like, "What is a mortgage? How do you spell?" Like, I didn't know it had two G's in there. I was like, "What in the world are you telling me there's two G's?" So I did. I walked across the street. I doubled my income. And then I had 300 loan officers that I was an admin for. And then the following year, I was like, "Wait, y'all make a lot of money and y'all do a lot of cool things. I want to go on that side."
Oh, I
So in
love it.
'08, I officially moved over to the
Good
sales side
timing.
and have been on that side ever since.
That is crazy. So you were countrywide retail.
Yes.
I started my career as an account executive on the A-paper side for Countrywide, and I was an account executive for the first almost 10 years of my career until they transitioned to, Bank of America. And oh my gosh,
I
that was
remember
that
that
was
day.
100,
Yeah, that was
100
the
years
crazy
ago.
day. Yeah, so I was there during the whole time.
Oh my gosh, that is insane. So how did you transition from admin to sales, and what was it? I mean, I'm sure like you said, you saw these people making all this money and you're like, if you can do this, I can do this. Like
Mhm.
that's fascinating. Tell me.
Yeah, and it was just one of those things that I was like, okay, minutia, like I'm always about how do I get better? Like what do I do? I had literally at that point all my Excel spreadsheets were run, all my entries for their accounting stuff because I came off in American Airlines and I was in accounting. So I
Yeah.
was the office manager for 15 that had to report to the law, our attorneys for American Airlines. And so that was just kind of the next level. And I was thinking, like, how do I get outside the box? But it was interesting, and I make, my people even from back then, because we're still friends. I was the very last one that came out of the sales rally because I've never been in sales. I've been
Yeah.
cheerleading all my life, and then I was an admin all my life. And I was like, okay. And I had bronchitis, and they were like, okay, you have two options. You can go back to being an admin, or you can close a loan because you've had 12 weeks to learn how to sell. Because I'm like, I don't even know
Well,
how
you
to
need to be
sell.
fine.
Yeah. And I was like, okay. And I'm like, what do I need to do? And they're like, you have two loans, or get in, or you're going back to an admin. So my brain works the same way. When you challenge me, I walked in, I had 104. Of course, we didn't have masks back then. And I remember it. I had 5 loans before I walked out the door. I literally walked in, I threw my pen and was like, peace, I'll see you Monday. And they were like, whoa.
Who is this girl?
And then it was just after that, it was, internet sales. So then it was top after that. But I mean, it's crazy. I'm like, don't
That
challenge
is
me, dude.
so awesome. I remember my first day at Countrywide, and it's so funny. Everybody just kind of stumbles into the mortgage industry, but I remember my first day at Countrywide. I was training with Gail, and Gail had been there for like 600 years. And I mean, she was a spitfire, a badass, but she kind of terrified me a little bit. And I was like, oh, how am I ever going to learn all this stuff? And the first thing, she's like a production coordinator. So she's like doing the lock desk and talking to clients, basically talking to mortgage brokers. And, the first thing she says is, she gets on the phone with somebody and she's like, okay, they're doing an 80-20 and we're going to get them locked on the non-conforming expanded criteria, conforming balance, 80-20, reduced stock. And my head about exploded. And I thought, shit, I am never, and I mean never, going to be able to remember that. And I haven't said that out of my mouth for probably 15 years now.
Right,
And
since
it's literally
09.
burned into the back of my brain.
Yes.
And you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I did. And it's crazy. Like they're not there, but that's why like it's, it's changed. Programs have changed, everything has evolved, but it's where we start that makes it better for today. And I feel like those unique perspectives of going through Countrywide,
Yeah.
merging into Bank of America, merging into 6/1/2009 when it all flipped to HARP and HAMP, and then we had to go there, and then we went to post closing, and like kind of just made it all like, yes, it was a shit show back then, but now it's like I literally can manage any storm because of the 3-year spectrum between Countrywide and all of that between '09
That is
and
so
11.
true. And that's so true for anything. Like you look back to everything that you've ever overcome and accomplished in your life, and you just go, it hasn't killed me yet. I'm still here. I'm still, I'm still passionate about what I'm doing. I'm still putting one foot in front of the other every day. And that didn't kill me. This certainly is not going to. So let's go. And you have done so many different things. And one thing that I really absolutely love about you and love about your career and love about your niche is that you are so passionate about coaching and educating and really teaching your referral partners and your clients, but specifically like people that you support, like teaching them actionable things that they can do in their businesses and as clients in their mortgage process. And you really have, I mean, you're like the mortgage coach. You are like constantly training. And I don't even know how you keep up with the schedule that you do, but I'd love to dive into that because I think it's so important and so impressive. And I love what you're doing for your community.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah. And I actually had a class today. So I'm off of a class this morning. We were talking about social media strategies. We had 13 agents in the class, title, warranty. And it just all kind of built up because I started in cheer and then I started coaching cheer and being in athletics, volleyball, basketball. Like I'm a long time athlete.
Yeah.
But now it's evolved to, and really COVID made me get out of that way was how do we help agents? And because it just kind of transformed, we all used to go to pop buys and have questions, walk in and say, hey, we couldn't do that during COVID. And then my agents are like, how do I? And I was like, well, hold on. And one day it was like 22 calls of how do I? And I was like, well, hold on. Maybe I should make a class. And I was like, oh. So then it started and now it's evolved to mindset, to leadership, to time blocking, to everything from social media to lead gen, like anything that someone needs a class about, we look at it, see if it's going to be an avenue, and we literally write a class on it just to help them because brokers, and it's nothing about large brokerages right now, they don't have the mentality or the opportunity to teach. And when everybody, especially in a market that we're in, a lot of agents have dual careers. They can't during the day go to a class, but you can watch it on a webinar so they're up to date with it. So we try to dual that as well. And if you're not in a class, we'll send you the recording for that so you can keep up on your skills because it's not just about sales. It's about it's a business.
Yeah.
And people don't realize like running a business is, all the way down to your time block. And that's where my calendar is so color coordinated. I can run a daily schedule, a weekly schedule. I can tell you who I've met with, how I've met them, what class they were in, what class they're not in, what they registered for,
what they
and
need.
It's all in one document. And so the ease of the calendar apps that it all goes into a Google spreadsheet. And then I literally can export it and say, all right, I've had these 15 classes over the last 90 days. How do I enhance that? And did they work for the agents as well to grow their business?
Well, and one class that you taught for me that I really benefited from is the Google Your Business class. And the interesting thing is I was doing an exercise with my team where I was working on trading reviews between agents. So, agents that I'd work with or agents that I, wanted to work with, reaching out to them and saying, hey, like, let's trade reviews. And the thing that was overwhelmingly evident after doing this exercise is I couldn't believe how many agents who are good agents, like these are people that are doing business, like they are professional people. This is not fly-by-night realtors here. Had zero Google presence, had no reviews. Like if I can't find someone's phone number immediately and I'm a consumer, like I'm moving on. So there was this need to go, okay, if these awesome agents in my market haven't figured this out, I've got to fill that need. And that is where we started the Google Your Business, because it's not difficult, but it's hard if you don't know what you're doing. And so the fact that you have curated this awesome, really tactical class about basics, like this is the very first thing that you do. Like I learned so much, and I feel like I have a pretty robust Google presence. And I was like, Glenda this is incredible. Everybody needs this information. And just the fact that you were willing to take the time to share that with everybody within UMortgage, and then curate a special class for people in our area. Like I'm in Portland, Oregon, you're in Dallas, Texas. I just appreciated it so much, and it was so good.
Yeah. And it is one of those underutilized. And I feel like that one all stemmed from when Facebook went down. And all the brokers, they had this long IEX like website and all of that. And that's why we try to dive into Google specifically, because it's like, where can you own the document and own the record that if you ever switch, you don't lose it. But then if Facebook or Instagram go down, you still have a website, a walking of who you are, that know, like, and trust factor. So we learned all in of how do you grow your business and let your business analyze who you are supposed to market to on top of that. So it's not just about the business, but it's who you market to, because the people that are clicking on your Google too. So it's very inspiring for sure.
Well, and it's so true, because we don't have control over Facebook or Instagram or any of these things. And there are some people that have built really impressive, robust, amazing businesses, successful businesses using those platforms, but to have no control over those platforms, they can be gone overnight. What happens to all of that hard work that you've put into that? Like there has to be that mirror that you could then go, all right, well, we got to switch gears over here. And I still have the infrastructure over here so that people can just find me and then know who I am.
And just learn, because, mainstream and just millennials right now, they know you before you know them, and they're Googling. And if you don't have a presence on Google, and you could be top, it doesn't matter, you could be top, but because you have one review versus 20 reviews, like it just doesn't matter, because millennials are in that mindset. It's like they Yelp everything, they Google everything. They are validating what you're saying more often than even a year ago. These millennials are so robust on their knowledge because they know everything. I got a 20-year-old, so I can say that. She knows exactly, but her plan is outlined. But that's what millennials do. Like they know exactly what to look for, the diameters and the parameters, and Google is the one page because you own it, unless if you get it taken down for some reason. And it's a non-spammer platform as well. Everything is validated and verified. It and YouTube, they own each other, so those coincide. And you don't have people doing scamming reviews. If Google picks it up that it's a scam, then they'll deny it and block that. So it is a absolute robust system to where you own it, and it's culturally indexed for who you are, but it tells the narrative of your own story and your unique features that honestly a website doesn't, because you see a website, it's here's your mortgage calculator, or here's your listings, but Google tells it's got videos, you can put parameters, you can put events on there, and you're in the community. And so it shows who you are.
Well, and I think that's so true, because a website might show who you are, but it's like what you think people want to see. And the important thing, and what millennials, it sounds like, are looking for, is that they're trying to get a feel for who you are authentically. Do they know, like, and trust your public persona based on others' feeling of, after working with you? It's so personalized. It's so important. And it's especially important when we're trying to differentiate ourselves from the competition, or from a call center, or from, real people getting that sense. And I actually appreciate that about this generation, because I think that's where we can shine. I want to work with people who like my style, who will know, like, and trust me based on how I conduct my business, because the way Kahren Oxner works might be completely different than the way somebody else works. And if there's not that congruence there, if there's friction, that's not going to feel good for either one of us. So what a lovely way to do business and let that actually work for us instead of being afraid and fighting against it.
100% for sure. And it's a good way to just go all in too.
Oh, heck yeah. And that's good. You sure have to go all in.
Hey, that's what we do every day.
Oh my gosh, totally. What do you think are the top, like, and this might be kind of a weird, hard question, but for somebody watching, if they're like, okay, I have the capacity or the bandwidth to really focus on these platforms, like from that perspective of, working with this new generation. And really, if that was your focus, what platforms should we be really paying attention to, learning about? Like, what do you think in terms of like rating the platforms that we have access to kind of help build our social profile or,
yeah. And that's a really good question. And my answer to that is, who's your ideal client? Who is your avatar, and who do you perform and serve? Because if you're of the younger, and I say younger now, 22 to 45, they're almost 80% on TikTok. And TikTok, believe it or not, is a #1 search over Google and YouTube. You can search for homes in Dallas-Fort Worth, Texas, or lenders in Dallas-Fort Worth, Texas, and we're going to pull up. And so because it's a fun platform, TikTok, and then of course YouTube, because it's evergreen and you can always find it. I love that, because say if I have a VA, I can send them an entire playlist with 50 VA videos or 20 VA videos. And my recession videos that I did from 2021, we were laughing about it this morning. They're literally popping up on YouTube now, because people are putting in recession. And my 2021 Biden's, $25,000, that video is now being pushed up from 2 and 3 years ago because it's still on my YouTube. So like those two, I would go all in. And of course, Facebook, I don't feel it's going down, but you never know. Yeah. But I would definitely kind of stay on those three platforms for sure.
That is so fun. You're going to laugh about this. That was so funny. So I was literally, this is so funny and so off topic, but actually not really off topic. I was literally trying to get a rusty bolt off of my well lid. And I am not even joking, Glenda. I pulled up TikTok and searched on TikTok how to do this, saw this realtor, and she may have even been in your area, but literally was talking about how to do this. So I got some spray that wasn't WD-40. It was and it's coming via Amazon today. And I mean, literally, that's how I learned to fix this bolt issue that I was having on my well via the TikTok.
So, I mean, it's owned by Chinese. We do that. So my kids never go on that or YouTube. Like, they don't go on there. But it's like for a search criteria, you can rebuild cars, you can find well bolts, you can figure out how to get bumblebees out of your house in the middle of Texas. So like, it's a good search. And so I do believe people need to be on it for education purposes, because not a lot of people are putting their data out there. And the ones that are doing business on that platform. Totally. I get 5 to 10 leads that are being nourished over the next 12 months, a month, just by having conversations with people and videos I've done on TikTok.
Yeah, that is so awesome. Well, that's good, because I'm totally addicted. So I'm probably going to have to go to some kind of support group for that at some point. But
yeah, we get a class for that. So it's good.
Good. I love it. Oh my gosh. Well, I do want to know how the heck you balance it all. You said everything is time blocked, and I'm absolutely the same way. I mean, I just think there is so much to accomplish in a day. I mean, and you've got, you've got a husband, you've got kids, you've got responsibilities, you've got, imagine this, a life outside of mortgage somehow. Like, how do you do it and stay sane?
Time blocking, like everything down from picking my kid up. Luckily, she can now get from the bus to get inside, so I can just open the garage door. But everything has a direction no matter the day. Even on the weekends, if it's just sending out a mass text message to our local vendors and our partners to say, hey, you've got this, let us know how we can help. On Sundays, we're planning content for the next week. it's all minute down to 30 minutes and then open times for consultation. So like it's a strategic planning and it took a while to get to it. But that's why I love like these external platforms. Like I use a Quiddy scheduler. I don't use Calendly because it color codes for me. Clients can go click a button. Agents can click a button. Agents can get on a podcast. Agents can schedule a one-on-one. So agents are reaching out to me to help them grow their business. And it's a matter of just having a calendar that tells me what I need to do for the next day and so on. So everything has got a before and after time block, color coded, exported, so I can really manage that. And then see, it also tells me, hey, you have no calendar appointments. Someday it's nice. It's like, you have 15 appointments. Great job. You have under 4. What have you been doing? Have you not been doing your sales activities to make the calendar appointments? And it comes every Sunday in my inbox religiously. So I know exactly what my next week looks like. And it's not a matter of waking up and saying, oh, what am I going to do today? I know exactly what my week looks like in advance.
And then you just follow the plan.
Follow a plan. That's all it is. Yep. Everything in this industry is a plan. Like have a plan, execute the plan, and then go on with your trajectory.
Well, and you are so consistent, and we talk about this a ton in Level Up Sales Coaching, and you are one of the most consistent people within Level Up Sales Coaching that is like, you know, inputting your sales activities, holding yourself accountable, like doing those things regularly, which is obviously why you've been so successful, because you don't like ebb and flow with that stuff. Like you do it consistently, regularly, and it really over time, it's like, well, no wonder she's crushing it. Like it's just part of your day and part of your like routine.
Yeah. And I think it's always been from the beginning. And that's, I think the culture of the Bank American Countrywide that did teach me is the years that we spend of get off, not ready, get on your phone, do this. I need a report. Like, because I turned into the analytical side and I have that admin background, I want to wake up to a report because for 6 years, I was giving a report by 6 a.m. every day.
Yeah.
And it just brought me into that with my admin at American Airlines. So that kind of helped me today of everything has to have
discipline,
a calendar or a structure, because if I don't have a day, like people laugh at me, if my mouse isn't working, my days, it's gone. Like it's a banana. And if I don't have like my mouse and got to go get a battery, like my day's messed up because it's not in its place where it has to go, because it does have so much with the life and family and cheer and football and, everything else in my life these days.
You gotta have fun at some point.
Yeah, but it's a consistent matter. And I love the fact that y'all said I have consistency on that.
You do.
It's been a little bit hard the last 90 days and that's fine. But, I'm still tracking them on a piece of paper. Again, I'm the paper person. I can tell you exactly who I called, how I called them, and when I called them. I just need to enter my data. Yes, Anthony, I'll enter my data to get that on. But I'm still tracking it every day, no matter what's going on in this lovely life.
Well, for me, that makes me feel like I'm accomplishing things. Like I'm like goal oriented, and I need that. Like I need to check stuff off the list. I need to accomplish something. Like every day, I got to move the needle in some way, shape, or form, and that can look different every day, just with the different, responsibilities that I have and things that I want to accomplish. But no, it's so important. And the other thing that's so interesting is you do all this education and all this training, but how do you translate that into, all right, I've poured into you and invested into you, my partners, like let's start working with some clients together. Like, how do you make that transition? Because it can be really easy to just pour into people, but then if there's not like a return on your investment, like how do you manage that and start building production while you're pouring into and investing in and building the relationship?
Yeah, so it all goes back to a system and a structure. I think I'm actually on a sales call next week for work about this. Like everything is on a Google document. I used to have it in a CRM, but Google document works a lot better for me. Yeah. It says it's got the last touch, it's got next touch, it's where I met you, what our interest in, what's your struggle, and then it goes to the line of what class were you in, and then I have a 12-week follow-up system that I follow. of where are we at in the process. And week 3 is a Google Doc or a Google review. If you don't have a Google, I'm reaching out to you to say, hey, how can I help you? Let's build a brand online. So it becomes a nurture process when it only takes 10, 15 minutes of a text or a phone call to say, hey, what did you implement from our class? What is your struggle? I don't see you on Google. Oh, let me show you this NAR settlement. Let me show you what VA has implemented for the buyer's transaction that's going on right now. So every time it's a thing of value. And Friday, I use reach apps for all of my clients and all my agents. There's about 450 that go out every Friday.
That's so awesome.
And we just have a conversation. And that's where a lot of my business comes from. I'm literally pouring into them the stuff that I don't think their brokers are pouring into them.
Yeah.
I know that sounds a little bit weird, but I find the unique things that maybe can grow their business, or going into the election of, hey, watch this, look for this, look on the, be on the lookout for this. And then Mondays we have the same people, but it's, what did you see at an open house?
Yeah.
So now we're asking the question of, what did your weekend look like? And did you have any hurdles with the new implementation of the NAR stuff? And everything is regimented, color coded on a Google spreadsheet. So I know what week you're in. Am I on your Instagram? Did we have a conversation? Did we give a book? I've got tons of books. They'll come in.
I know you do. I love that. I love that you
literally just grab a book, and then I have people like send me books. And so it's just a matter of, again, the modern loan originator, it's hard because we have to spend so much time on the phones.
Yeah.
But it's also, I spend so much time on social media, and I say so much time, it's like an hour a day, but I'm constantly talking to 30 and 40 agents a day, just nurturing that relationship and seeing how they are. And that's where they come to me at that point.
Totally.
Like, we ran a quick analysis of the agents there this morning, and every single one of them have sent me at least one referral in the last 90 days.
That is so awesome.
It's one of those things that if I'm getting a referral, I want to make sure I pour into them, because they are spending their time with me.
Absolutely.
So I want to spend 15 minutes a week helping them. And that's not a lot when you're 5, hey, just checking in on you. How are you doing? How's your mom doing? I've seen this. So again, it's like some people we'll just put it up on social media, see how they are, and then we'll text them. Yeah. I'm not putting it on their feed, but I'm going to text them, hey, I see that your mom is sick. Is there anything I can do? How's she doing?
And that's a real relationship. I mean, that's taking from an online to an offline, and that's building that relationship, which is exactly the goal. And I think it's awesome what you're doing. It's so important, and it's so critical, because we have to differentiate ourselves in a competitive market, and getting more personal and more intentional and more in person is the way we do it.
Yep, for sure.
I totally love it. Well, my dear, I appreciate you a ton. It was so good catching up with you, and we have to do this again. I hope to see you at our Empowered retreat in November. We have so much more to talk about, but man, see, it just goes by so fast.
It does. Thank you so much for having me. It's so good to talk to you. And of course, I appreciate again everything that you're doing.
Thanks so much, Glenda.
Yes,
talk to you soon.